man. I'm here to give it back, man. At the end of the day, man, you can do what you want to do, but you got to learn to be great. I'm tired of people out here playing in the game, man. You're taking up space and opportunity. So I'm here to get this real game back to y'all. If you don't like it, get out the way, man. Because we're on a whole new era, man. And we ain't going to be stopped. Real spill. Let's get it.
It's the Plug Podcast. Fuck you, man. You already know what's going on, nigga. CrossFit, all shit. Hop up in the mosh pit. Represent the truth. And you know we finna talk shit. I play black and slow, but not slow and black. If you try to run some game, that shit will not last. Very woke and dope without the nonsense. Mine is very me. I'm in my conscience. Disregard the hate inside the comments. Plug your heart and make you start to vomit. This the vibe that everybody wanted. I said, this the vibe that everybody wanted. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Don't you try to stop my job. Yeah, we finna get this bill. Only real ones in my squad. Alabama, where I'm posted. Mad cause you ain't got motion. Niggas softer than lotion. My drip wetter than the ocean. Alabama, where I'm posted. Mad cause you ain't got motion. Niggas softer than lotion. My drip wetter than the ocean. Like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, I'm with Cross, we finna ride. Niggas talking shit, but we gon' thrive. Got the viewers running up another line. Can you hear me though? Hey, 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 yeah. Hey, 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 yeah. Hey, 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 yeah. Hey, I'm on CrossFit, all shit. Hop up in the mosh pit. Represent the truth, and you know we finna talk shit. I play black and slow, but not slow and black. If you try to run some game, that shit will not last. Very woke and dope without the nonsense. Mine is very me, I'm in my conscience. Disregard the hate inside the comments. Plug your heart and make you start to vomit. This the vibe that everybody wanted. I said, this the vibe that everybody wanted. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Don't you try to stop my job. Yeah, we King, what you gotta say to these niggas?
Salute everybody up in here. Jersey Rich, I see you, King. Black Widow, let's go, y'all. We got a great one tonight. Let's go.
I feel like Cross, I'm a motherfucking boss. I got the drip, and you know I got the sauce. I tell you fuck ass niggas get lost. Coming through your chimney like I'm goddamn Santa Claus. Like 2023, and you know I rock my chain. Nigga, boy, I'm grown. I ain't tryna play no games. Doing what we want.
Salute Black Widow. Let's go, y'all.
Crazy how they pussy niggas selling out.
Got a great one tonight.
Look at my neck. Look at my worth, nigga. I'ma shine so hard, make it hurt, nigga. Been the way that I am since birth, nigga. Tabernacle in the stream with a church, nigga. I'm chosen. I'm chosen. I be in front of the camera posing. You see that choker on my neck,
salute
and it's frozen.
Hey,
yeah,
I'm chosen.
I am not stressed. I passed the test. Look at my name. Look at my team. You know we gon' win. You know we gon' win. Until the end. You know what I get, Stone C, like my name is Smith. Niggas talking, but I know he ain't shit. Niggas talking, but I know he ain't shit. Run up on me, I'ma make you do flips. Do a bad flip. Niggas they cap like an actress. All the forward niggas doing magic. Pull up on your mama and it's tragic. Damn. Woo, woo, hey, hey, woo, 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 hey, 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 yeah, hey.
Got a great one tonight. Let's go, y'all. Everybody get on up in here tonight.
Don't need your help, my nigga, I'm fine.
Got a great show tonight, guys. Special guest tonight.
Riding in my whip and I be changing lane. Got my OG saying I be staying in their brain. Cause I'm going so dumb and I hopped in the game. Everything that I got came from excessive pain. Yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm with Cross, and you know we going live. Got King on my right, he by my side. Keep it square, and so you know that's how we
Y'all get on up in here, man. We got another one tonight, man. Man, we got a great one tonight, man. I want y'all up in here. We got special people up in here that I want y'all to build with. Salute to everybody, man. I'm back at it like a crack addict. It's your boy Cross, Boss Cross, big CEO of Cross Your Heart. Man, we got a special guest here. I told y'all I was gonna bring y'all awareness of somebody who actually talks to kids I deal with on a daily basis. She calls me. She says, hey, Cross, I need you to come up here and talk to these kids. So what I got on here is a person that goes to the school who deals with kids at all times. We're going to get into a great bill. Y'all can ask her questions. What do y'all think? What she think coming from a point of view as a teacher, and to let y'all know. And I'm going to do it no longer. And she's going off of, I love the kids. Salute to you. I love the kids. So y'all see her. She's here in the building.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yep.
Okay.
We got you.
Cool.
We got you.
Okay.
So this woman right here, man, I want to give y'all a little, laid back about her. She deals with a lot of kids. She deals with the kids that are problem kids that go on in the schools, the stuff that y'all don't see, the parents that y'all sit back and y'all say, hey, what's going on with my kid? She's the one who makes sure your kid don't end up getting in no trouble. You know what I'm saying? So I want to introduce her. She goes by I Love Kids. I love the kids. So salute and welcome to the Plug Podcast.
Hello, everyone.
Yes. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into a video and we're going to talk about what's going on in the schools right now. And from there, what we're going to do is also build too. And she's going to give y'all her understanding on this as well. All right. So salute to everybody coming in the chat. Hopefully everybody will build in the chat. We're going to have a great one tonight. Let's go.
Season across the country, spread all over social media. Police officers injured, students arrested at this high school in Florida. A 13-year-old arrested for allegedly attacking a student with autism in California.
There's no doubt that there's been more fighting and more violence in schools.
Absolutely. This is across the board. Our members everywhere are talking about the challenges.
Wrong place, wrong time.
Back in September, Jacob Cantu was in a bathroom stall at one of Connecticut's largest high schools when someone tossed a trash can over, hitting him in the head. How do you feel about going to school?
Honestly, it's still a bit worrying at times.
The vandalism and violence so bad, the superintendent closed the school and ordered a day of remote learning.
There was that much tension in the school?
Yes. I don't want to sugarcoat that and say no.
She says it's the fallout from students being face-to-face for the first time in some 18 months, with some reacting to the social isolation, stress, and trauma caused by the pandemic, families' financial pressures, or even grieving loss of life, and imitating adult bad behaviors, fights on airplanes, rowdy school board meetings about masks and mandates.
Being away from the school building had that big an impact?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. In some cases, like a 7th grader is now a 9th grader.
They haven't learned how to navigate, first of all, a setting that's triple the size of what they came from.
Where's the school system now in terms of adjusting?
We're in a better place than we were 8 weeks ago.
With COVID relief funds, she's hired some 200 support staff, counselors, social workers, mental health professionals, and reached out directly to some 70 families with students involved in the unrest.
Okay, let's see how quickly we can get involved and get engaged in learning.
Near Tampa at this middle school, where officials say fighting has long been an issue, they're focused on trying to teach these 6th graders the basics.
How to come into class, what are the expectations in the hallway? When you're in the cafeteria, what are those expectations?
I definitely learned that I have to use my manners all times and respect other people.
Lessons not quite learned in a lot of other places. Ron Allen, NBC News, New Britain, Connecticut.
So that is one right there. I love the kids. That's just one episode. So I want you to build on that because you see that all the times in the school. So my question to you is, what is the problem and what are we doing wrong as parents and what do we need to do?
Well, one thing we need to do, we need to make sure that our kids are able to adjust to the new. The pandemic did hold some kids back, maybe 2 years. The parents felt uncomfortable about bringing them in. And then when they came in, they may be leaving elementary, going to the middle school or going over to junior high school. And they hadn't been in that setting. And then the rules are totally different. So the parents, if we get the parents to participate and understand the rules and the basic of how schools are run on a daily basis, that would help us tremendously. And like the young lady was,
So I hate to cut you off. So
no problem.
do you think with the problem when you said that help with the schools, so is the parents lacking or is the school lacking from that point of view?
Well, I'm gonna say the parent. You got to, and I'm not blaming, but you have to make sure you know what your children are doing day to day. They're exposed to so many different things because you have social media that's standing here and right in their face. That's pretty much what we use is a computer on a daily basis. We hardly ever use hard copies. We don't have textbooks. Well, we do have textbooks, we don't use them as much. So we need to make sure that the parents are being advocates. They are participating in school activities and in their child's life, what's going on day to day. Because it had gotten to the point, a lot of times teachers feel like we're babysitting. So we need the parent to parent, if you understand what I mean.
No, definitely understand where you're coming from. So basically, what you're saying is, in a nutshell, a lot of these kids are being put in a position where they're basically, I hate to say it, they're being a guardian for themselves, and that type of faction.
Yes, because I was speaking to another teacher maybe a day or two ago, and just like a mom, we're moms, so we're taxi cab drivers. We have to be a nurse and things like that. We're doing a lot of that at the school. We are being parents. We're trying to. We're not friends, but we try to let them know that they can trust us. So we're being advocates beyond just instructional time, teaching them, education. We're trying to teach them about life. And
Facts.
some of the kids don't have that basic.
Wow.
It's just a lot of things they're picking up. They're picking up on social media, and some could be good and some could be bad.
So when you see that, what is again, I go back because like when you call me, and I tell people all the time, I got to go, I'm off live, and I mention you a lot, and what you do, and a lot of people don't know what you do and the stress that you go through. My thing is that where is the system? Is the system being lenient on the kids, or do you think that because I understand, okay, as me as a parent, right, and you as a parent, but me as a parent, okay, what are y'all doing to enforce that the kids stay in the right path? I know it ain't your job to babysit. I'm not asking you to babysit, but I'm asking you from a point of view, what is you guys' job to ensure? Because like, okay, when I was up to today, and we know this, a lot of kids get salute T, a lot of kids get sent to the in-school suspension situation. My thing is this: once they're sent there, it's really, once you send them back, it's out of your hands, but it's the revolving door. Why is it, do you think that there's a revolving door? Is it the fact that from a, and I hate to say this, from a funding program, does it look good on paper? Or why is it that you think, from a personal point of view, you seeing on the outside looking in, why is it you think that the teachers can only do so much?
Well, and that's another thing. That's why a lot of teachers have retired or went on to different other careers. The school can only do so much. Now you have so many parents that are saying, not my child. They wouldn't do this. They wouldn't do that. And they're suing the schools. So the school, they're trying to cover themselves, not to have so many, have lawsuits and digging with have to deal with the legal system. So they can only do so much, because let's say if a child has behavior issues and you trying to contain that
Okay.
child and move them out of the classroom, well, that child might try to fight you, and then you got to step away, because let's say if you grab them the wrong way and they'll say, oh, she tried to do this or he tried to do that, and then here come the parent knowing that their child have a behavior issue, then they want to go and try to sue. But we've set things
Wow.
up with, have conversations with parents and say, hey, this child does this, and they already know that. So this is what we're going to do. This is the plan to make sure this child stays. We try to keep that child on task, but when you don't support like you say you're going to do, that can be an issue, and so you got teachers that are afraid to lose their jobs because this is their career. This is something that they love doing. But you have people that say, hey, I'm going to have to step back, because see, they still got to feed their children. They got to still pay their bills. So I think sometimes you're not going to get a lot of teachers saying, hey, I'm just going to let them fight. And then you have parents that go, well, why did you let that child beat on my child? If there was a conflict between two students, they're afraid to get in the middle of it. You know what I mean?
So you guys are stuck in like a catch-22 at the end of the point. You guys, like you say, it ain't like you guys getting paid bukus of money to jump in. You guys are there to educate. You guys ain't there to break up no fights and be referees throughout the day. Right. So what it puts y'all in the position of having to be not only the parent, but also the disciplinarian while they're at school, because they don't get that much at the house.
Right. And we're, we get to the point where we're a little frustrated, because it's like, okay, we try to call parents. We've gotten to the point where they won't answer their phone. And I've never seen that. And my children are grown now. Anytime I saw a number come up and I knew it was the school system and I'm at work, I'm calling. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. You don't know if they're sick and we need to call the ambulance. We need to, you're working your child somewhere, but then a lot of them, they know we constantly call them on a daily basis because your kid or your child is not doing what they're supposed to do at school. You're disrupting the class. You are being disrespectful. You're talking when the teacher's trying to teach, or you get up, you're walking around in the room, or you walk out of the room. You can't do that.
That's a fact.
So we just really, really need parents to really participate. You just don't understand. If you would come in and be an advocate and make sure that your child is on point when it comes to their attitude, their behavior, their academics, let's get it all straightened out. Let's help us. Let's help each other. And your children will succeed. Your children would definitely succeed if you would just come on in. But some people, like they say, a lot of teachers feel like their hands are tied and they're easing on out. And what are we going to do in the next 10 or 15 years? And I tell the kids all the time, what if they go to the point where everybody's virtual? There's going to be some kids that need to sit in the classroom. And that's what scares me, that, it get to the point where they don't have any teachers. People stop going to school to be teachers. And then what are you going to do?
So I got a question for you. That's a good question. That's a good question you asked. So during that virtual thing, and knowing that in your area, how you deal with kids, how did that impact you? Because like you said, well, if they're at home virtually, you don't know what kind of trouble they're really getting into. There's nobody giving them accountability.
Right. So when we started virtual during the pandemic, we had a lot of kids that decide that the parent, made it, they either brought their children back either half the time, or they didn't. They went the whole school year. I'm sorry, I got a train of thought. They decided to go virtual the whole year. But you had a choice between the semester, like you might have did the first semester, or then you may came back, the second semester, depending on the numbers of the COVID cases at the school, because they kept it up to date. Okay, right. So we had a lot of kids that were failing. So we had to get on our phones. We at school and we had to get on our phones and say, hey, your child's going to have to come back because they are not coming online every day at 8:30 or 8 o'clock or whatever. And they're not doing their work. So they had to come back because they were failing. And, and so the parents really couldn't come into the schools. We were trying to eliminate a lot of people coming in the schools, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't know who's sick and who's not, and then there was also an issue. Sometimes people were sending their children to school and they had COVID. So that's a whole nother thing there.
That's a whole nother thing. Yeah, that's wild. So in the midst of all that, what do you think with the COVID and what did it? So hold on, before we get into that, let's watch one more video. Salute the Bad Soul. I see a lot of people coming in. We got 226 people in the building. Let's keep going. We're going to build tonight off of this. I love the kids. She's one that deals with a lot of kids. And I deal with her, and I just was up there today. She calls me because, again, y'all, and I always tell y'all these stories about how these kids are, and a lot of people don't get it. But she know I done seen it, hands on. Like I don't see how she do it, because when I come home, I got to take a nap. I'm just like mentally drained, and she's there for 8 hours dealing with these kids, and y'all couldn't even imagine, from hygiene. And we're going to get into that, the hygiene and everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch this video right here. Salute to everybody.
Okay.
Across the country, spread all over social media. Police officers injured, students arrested at this high school in Florida. A 13-year-old arrested for allegedly attacking a student with autism in California.
There's no doubt that there's been more fighting and more violence in schools.
Absolutely. This is across the board. Our members everywhere are talking about the challenges.
Wrong place, wrong time.
Back in September, Jacob Cantu was in a bathroom stall at one of Connecticut's largest high schools when someone tossed a trash can over, hitting him in the head.
How do you feel about going to school?
Honestly, it's still a bit worrying at times.
The vandalism and violence so bad, the superintendent closed the school and ordered a day of remote learning.
There was that much tension in the school?
Yes. Yes, I don't want to sugarcoat that and say no.
She says it's the fallout from students being face-to-face for the first time in some 18 months, with some reacting to the social isolation, stress, and trauma caused by the pandemic, families' financial pressures, or even grieving loss of life, and imitating adult bad behaviors, fights on airplanes, rowdy school board meetings about masks and mandates.
Being away from the school building had that big an impact?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
In some cases, like a 7th grader is now a 9th grader.
They haven't learned how to navigate, first of all, a setting.
So basically, that's what you were saying as far as during the pandemic, these kids then got to the point they done got ahead of themselves, and they really don't know how to navigate, like that woman was saying, in other words.
Oh, yeah. And they're just running wild. It's almost like we're trying to retrain them to behave in a social setting.
Wow.
And it's kind of hard because it's like, let's make common sense common now, because a lot of the kids, they're not understanding what we're trying to teach them. And then I wonder, like, what are they learning at home? What are they picking up at home?
Right.
And I think a lot of times, I just feel like sometimes they're being babysit at home by sitting in front of their phone, in front of their screen, and they just picking up on things.
Right.
On how, and of course, the internet, everything on social media is not factual.
Exactly.
But,
you know that when I come in and I talk to them kids, and the first thing I tell them, I'm like, yeah, I'm Cross, I'm on live, and they be, like today, they went crazy. Oh my God, so what's your clothing line? And I tell them all the time, and I tell them, I keep it real, and I tell my audience that I tell them that, like, man, why are y'all in here? But one thing I can say, and I give you your flowers, is the fact that they like being in there because there's not that many teachers like you that really, like, when I'm in there with you, like, you're on them, you let them know. But it's sad that by that time it gets to you, man, they like out of control. And you, like you said, you have to reprogram them.
Yeah. And then you have to, it's just like you're trying to structure them. And I do understand. I do have a lot of kids that do come in there and they want to stay in my room, but you're not getting that instructional time. I can only do so much. So I'm working with you with your behavior.
Facts.
And I'm trying to explain to them, when you step into the threshold of a teacher's room, you have to behave. You have to sit still. You have to listen to the teacher and let her give you that instructional time. He or she give you that instructional time. But you can't be in there acting a fool. They're going to put you out. And some of the kids that are here, they're coming to their classroom, they want to learn. But if you got one or two in there that's just acting a whole nut, they got to get them out of there. And then when I get them in the room, I said, listen, you really don't want to be in here, because a lot of times they're embarrassed. Now you got some that don't care. You do have some that don't care. Yeah. And I'm like, you know what?
Yeah, I see a lot of them ones, they what I call them regular customers of yours. Like you say, you see them all the time. You call them frequent flyers?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yeah. And it really bothers me that they're not getting it. They're not understanding that this is a free education. Oh, this is a free education, and I need you to get it. I need you to get it. This is your opportunity. And a lot of them, they talk about, well, I don't even like school. I don't want to go to school. Come on now. You're just kids. And then you got some that feel like, hey, I'm gonna make it. And I'm thinking, but you don't have an education. You're not old enough to even work to get any experience.
Well, and see, like I was telling the little young guy, remember the day I was asking him today, and for people that don't know, like I was telling him, like one of the kids, for example, I love the kids know that one of the kids threw another kid's computer. So I asked him, why would you throw the computer? He says, well, he grabbed my brand new shirt. I said, do you realize that's public property? I said, your parents will be responsible for that. And did y'all know, and she was right there, did y'all know that every kid looked at me like I was crazy? They didn't believe that they can get in trouble for that. They have no sense of the end result. That's what blows my mind.
Right. And then that goes back to the parents. So we have a lot of kids that feel like, I don't have to answer to you. I'm not, and they'll tell you, I'm not going to get in trouble. Because I guess, I don't know if they go home and just tell a whole tale and say, I didn't do it. That's why parents need to come up there. They need to investigate. You know what your children are capable of doing. Now, some will say that they'll say that their kids won't do. You don't know what they do when they're with their peers. Some kids want to blend in and be with the in crowd that's always getting into some type of trouble, and they think that's the cool thing. That's not cool. So that factual part there, they look at you like, what are you talking about? Because they don't understand the word no. And a lot of them don't like it when I tell them no. And
no, that's another thing. They do not like that word no. She's telling the truth, y'all. Y'all better listen, because if you're not telling them no at home, I'm telling y'all right now, when them teachers go to telling them kids, hey, you got to go do that, man, them kids ain't trying to hear nothing them teachers saying. Like, I mean, y'all couldn't even imagine.
And they will walk out of the classroom. If you tell them that we have a phone policy, you're not supposed to have your phone in the classroom. But you got some parents say, you can't take my child's phone. But we have a policy that you will get written up, and you can go to ISS, you can go to case. We can take your phone, and they're not hearing.
Yeah. So for people that don't know, I love the kids. Break that down to people that don't understand the difference between in-school suspension and what in this area in Alabama they call case, because a lot of people don't understand that. So if you can give them your breakdown of in your area, and then if they get too out of control, they got to go to another area.
So in school suspension, of course, is just like when you are behaving badly, of course, and they pull you out of the room and you come and sit in a particular area at the school. They may keep you for an hour just for you to calm down. If it's a little worse than that, then you, let's say, fighting, or you hit someone, or you cuss a teacher out or something, you're going to sit in that room for a couple of days. So you have different type of punishments, but you will eventually make it down to my room. Now it gets to the point where it's a little bit worse, you will go to case, and that is away from the school. So that means parents have to find a way for that child to get there, because it's not the buses doesn't go there. So you are putting your parent in a situation where if they have to be at work at 7, let's say if it's a single parent, okay, so that means she or he is going to have to get you there the best way they can. And you cannot miss days. You can't miss days in ISS, and you can't miss days in case. If you do, you're going to make them up. And then they have another one.
Wow. Hold on for a minute, Queen, because I didn't know that. So you telling me, if I didn't know that, so even if they go to case and they miss days, so say for instance they're there for 3 days, if they missing every day that they miss, they just make it up. So I got a question. Do you see any cases where kids end up being in case long term based off of that?
Oh yeah. Well, I won't say based off of that. Let's say if it gets to the extreme, let's say if they go to the point of, just like you've seen on that video where they're fighting the way that that child beat up that autistic child. I'm pretty sure they'll end up after so many. Let's say if you're in jail and you get in, you come in and out, and you get so many discipline referrals. It's going to get to the point where they're going to say you don't need to be in the school because you're too dangerous. You're dangerous.
Wow.
They're gonna, or you bring a gun or a knife, or you threaten someone, then you're gonna end up in long term.
Right.
And that means that's pretty much alternative school, and that's another area. You've got to be dropped off. School system don't have, they do not bus you there. You have to get
okay. So
away.
I got okay. So you have, what you have is the first stage would be to come and see you, and you try to deal with them. If it get bad, they go to case, which is not the actual alternative school, but that's just, you got to go away from here and get away from the school for how many days. But if you're still a problem, the third step is to put you in alternative school.
Yeah, that's long term. So that means,
Okay.
let's say if somebody got in trouble this week, so the rest of the school year, you're probably gone. And now it depends on how many days. Let's say if they say 3 months. Well, school, we don't have 3 more months. So that means when school started back, you will continue to be in long term. And then they will go on to the next step and let you come back. I'm sure they will have some sort of conference with parents, maybe I won't say the superintendent, maybe the principal of that school, the counselor, maybe the psychologist, a psychiatrist, something like the clinical psychologist, and they're going to talk about the plan that they need to set aside for this child to succeed. If not, then I don't know where it would go to that point. I really don't know. I'll have to find that out. But I hate to find out something like that to happen to a child, because somewhere along the way we're failing that child.
Come on now.
I can say that.
You keeping it real on that. And the fact of the matter is, so when they're okay, so I got another question. So when they're at your stage, I've seen it, but I'm just giving it to the audience. So when they come to your stage, how much is the parents involved? When it comes to your stage, you're the first stage to try to get them on the right path. So how much do you see parents are involved? Besides myself, you already know I go up there and wild out. I've done it. I mean, you already know. You know, shout out to my daughter, but you know her, and they know I don't play at their school. So, but I'm saying on the average parent, what do you see? How much involvement they are when it comes to the first stage?
Well, the disciplinary that did do all the the punishment and the write-ups and things is the assistant principals. They call the parent, let the parent know what's going on, what happened, the incident, what they did. But it has gotten to the point when it usually get to me now. I used to call parents as well. I don't call very much now because we finna go back to it. They won't pick up the phone.
Come on. So I got a question for you real fast. Dolly Bear's got a question. She says, please, do any of these children who are badly behaved enrolled in any type of counseling within the school to maybe find out where their behavior is coming from? Again, thank you, ma'am. So she want to know, is there any enrollment? Is there any counseling? That's the next question I was going to ask there too, Dolly. Where does the counselor come in that? Because I see when I'm there, it's like, honestly, it's fast. It's like boom. And like when I talked to the young man, I said, man, what you doing? And he told me, well, I got here. And a lot of people, like I had my homeboy that was here today at my house, and he was saying his son had did something and he only went for half a day. He was like, how in the world can you go half a day? I said, they do that now. So it's a lot of different rules that based off of who, that's not the principal, right? That's the assistant principal that is based off, right? The rules as far as how long they stay, a half a day. My question is, why do y'all put them in for a half a day instead of disciplining them for that full day? Or is that considered a write-up still if it's a half a day? I know that's like 2 or 3 different questions in one.
Well, it varies. It kind of varies. Sometimes you are just trying to eliminate a situation. Let's say if 2 boys got into blows with each other that morning, it's been an issue. So you may want to pull one over, to my room and say, hey, we're going to let you sit in my room a couple of hours so that all this is blowed over, because they probably have the first 2 or 3 classes together. So we're trying to eliminate a situation. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to explain to them, look, you're not in trouble. We're just trying to keep you at bay from the foolishness. And so if they have later on, they have different classes that they won't even see each other. We try to separate them. But they've already laid it down the law. Like if you run into each other, stay away from each other. Don't say anything to each other. Don't look at each other. But I do know some of the children have to be counseled. But I really don't understand that whole issue on that end. But I do know some children have told me that they see a counselor. I'm pretty sure that's something that you have to set up. And that again, that's when the parent is talking to the teachers and talking to, administration. And so that's why the parent has to be in the mix, because we can't just say, oh, they need counseling. There has to be a plan set. They have to speak with the counselors, and the counselors can say, your child needs some sort of attention, and then some may, and I know we're Black, they may say they don't need any help.
Come on, man.
We do have some that I do know personally that they are of color, and they do seek counseling, and I think it does help. It does help, but you got to continue with that. You can't just do 2 or 3, sessions. This is something that's going to have to be long term, because we don't know what's going on in homes. We don't know, and then we can't keep our eye on our kids every minute. Like they run to the restroom. We don't know what's going on in the restroom when they're in that bathroom.
Come on, man. That's what people. And you know what? And people take that for granted. The little things, it's the little small innuendos that they do. And that's why I tell my wife, I tell anybody that it's not the stuff that you see in front. They won't do it. It's like you say, go to the bathroom. So Ashley's got a question for you. Is your school pretty big? And would you see less issues if the ratio of students was smaller?
The school is a nice size school. I think I don't know if it really would be a difference because the children are all exposed to the same thing. I think we probably have a better handle on it. You think about the ratio between teachers and administration and staff towards the number of children. But if your children are very disrespectful, I mean, it doesn't matter if you got 10 in your classroom. against 30, you know?
Right.
Because sometimes I end up with certain kids. I can have 12 kids in my room. I won't have a problem with. But now today, I may have had 6, but I had 2 that got on my nerve.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
was there. I was there.
So,
I know
yeah,
exactly what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah, so sometimes it can be just the whole makeup of who you have in that particular class. You know, sometimes they've had to change schedules, you know, so kids don't be with the, you know, certain kids don't be around each other. And so
Right.
But yeah, if you got 1 or 2, they're gonna do what they do. May it be a small class or a large class.
A large class. So Dolly Bear's got another one. She said, is there a taboo about counseling within the Black community? That's a good question, Dolly Bear. That's a very good question. What is your view on, is there a taboo about counseling within us in the Black community when dealing, or is there a lack of self-identifying people at school that we even deal with? Salute, Jen.
I think it's better. I would probably think when I was in school that our parents would probably say we just need a swift tail whooping, you know?
Right.
But to think about it, we weren't exposed to what they're exposed to. They're seeing a whole lot of things that we didn't even see or talk about until we were probably 17, 18 years old. You got children talking about stuff they shouldn't be talking about at 6, 8, 12.
Come on.
You know?
Come on.
So and then you have the social media, and then they think this image that they see, they supposed to look that way or say this stuff or feel this way, and it's not so. So they're dealing with a lot of things like depression, cyberbullying, just not having a self-awareness of who they really are. They trying to depict what they see or what they hear on social media, and I think a lot of that is hurting them, you know. But I think we do have a lot of Black people that are actually getting into counseling now, because I hear a lot of people just speak on, hey, I need to get my child some help. They're having some issues with depression because of self-image, the things that they see off social media. So that's one thing we need to do. We need to eliminate our children being on social media so much.
That's deep. Yeah. That's deep. No, you're right about that. So salute to everybody. We got 314 people in the building right now. We got people in the chat. I appreciate y'all, man. I love the kids in here. We're really breaking it down. Jen, what we're talking about is what's going on. You know, I talk about the stuff that goes on in the schools and stuff. So we actually have a person here who is a professional who works with the kids. I work for her as well. She deals with a lot of kids that deal with a lot of different issues, and we're getting into that tonight. So I appreciate her coming on here. So we're going to watch this other video for y'all to watch too. Y'all hit that like button, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Johnson County parents raising concern after this clip circulated online showing one student attacking another at Switzerland Point Middle School. Those families want to know why no one appeared to step in and why the school wasn't more transparent about what happened in the classroom and the hallway.
News4Jax reporter Joe McLean joining us live from Switzerland Point Middle School. And I know you spoke to several of those parents, but that includes the parents of that student who was attacked.
Right, then they're just mortified with what happened to their child and mortified at this fight, which happened on Wednesday. And according to students who witnessed it, they said it extended out into the hallway. Part of the hallway, they said, even had to be shut down as custodial staff cleaned up blood. Now, the parents that I spoke to, including the parents of the student who appeared to be attacked, they want answers.
These are images from that video that raised the alarms of parents at Switzerland Point Middle School. It was captured Wednesday by the cell phone of someone inside that classroom and shows a student wielding a chain wrapped around their fist, beating and stomping on another student.
He was just blindsided by the whole thing and didn't even know it was coming. So he couldn't even defend himself if he wanted to.
That's the mother of the student who was attacked, who spoke with me over the phone.
I'm afraid of the repercussions that might happen with the other students that are friends with this kid. I don't know what to do. I have no answer. All all I get from the school is we can't tell you.
According to the students who witnessed the fight, it continued out into the hallway, and custodial staff had to keep the area clear in order to clean up blood. That afternoon, a short memo was emailed to parents saying an incident occurred that caused the hallways to be cleaned, and that at no point during this was the safety of our students compromised. This parent of a Switzerland Point student got that message. She asked not to be identified.
Just a very cryptic, non-transparent email, making it seem like there was a spill or some type of mess in the hallway.
It wasn't until...
That's terrible. I think you're on mute.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My thing was my question I was going to ask you is, why is it that people don't like the emails, right? Like we get those random emails. Like I just got one the other day at my son's school. Like they don't go, I understand they don't want to go in detail, but the fact like those days are over with as far as letting them know. Like that whole thing situation, why did, I guess what I'm asking you, why did they handle it that way?
You talking about the one that we just seen here?
Yes, the one we just seen. I'm just asking from your point of view as a teacher.
A lot of times I think it's a legal issue. You gotta, I guess PR have to really watch what they say when it comes from the board before they let out too much information. They gotta investigate. It's really sad. I'm not even shocked when I seen those kids, the other kids that were just sitting there and didn't move.
Right.
Because they're scared of the repercussions that they're going to get jumped on. You know, and then you're recording it. And then it's on social media. And that tends to mess with a child because they can't handle the things that we handle. Somebody see us get jumped on and we get, you know, there if there's a video or something, be like, okay, yeah, I got my tail whooped. But a child, they don't understand that whole scenario. They're embarrassed. And here comes the cyberbullying. And then you're scared to go to school. You may start behaving in a terrible way, so you don't get to go to school. You start trying to be sick all the time, you know. So I can see kids just sitting there or just moving out of the way. Now you do got some that's something else, and they're going to record because they think it needs to be broadcast across, you know, the world. And so that's a whole nother situation. But that right there, that was a violent. And then I just heard the child had a chain around his hand, beating the other child up.
Yes.
That's terrible. Yeah.
But you know, but think about this. This is almost like where it's going. Like, and that's the reason why I said, and I had you up here, the way that the laws or for you guys are to the point where, like, to me, honestly, if there was a situation just like the one that, you know, at the other middle school where they came out, remember a couple of weeks ago, guy was fighting. I was supposed to be up there, but guy was fighting. You know, they said, you know, allegedly the gun fell out, right? So why do they not put, if they got, you know, like at the middle school or at the junior high, they have, not at the middle school, but at the junior high, they have enough security as far as like, you got to be able to be buzzed in. My question is, it's not the fact being buzzed in, it's the ones that are on the campus at that time. You see what I'm saying? So my thing is, why they don't have in the inner cities, why do you think they don't have the you know, metal detectors and stuff? Or do you think that y'all need them?
Oh yeah, I believe we do. And I think they are coming in.
Okay.
So I'm really thinking that's going to come in soon. Now I don't know if it's going to come in here at the end of the year, but I do believe I've heard talks on it. So I believe we're going to have one that will be mobile that could either come from the front door, the back door there, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I have heard that just recently. So it even makes me feel better because you just seen not too long ago where a 6-year-old child shot their teacher.
That's right. In Virginia, I did a story on that in Virginia. Yep. You sure right.
Yeah. So don't get me wrong. Sometimes I get to thinking sometimes, you know, I can make a child mad. I'm like, ooh, I hope they don't come in on me with something, you know what I'm saying? Because then that's at the point where I'm gonna have to protect myself.
Well, you know, I don't know if they did that in the South, but you know, they was trying to pass a law for y'all teachers to basically be able to carry firearms. What is your thing on that? Do you think that should it get that far, or do you think that, again, it goes back to, like you said, that okay, I give you an example. The reason why I said that, and I mean, it's different, but when I was in the lunchroom, right, the one little kid that you know him and I know him, right? We always talk about this guy. So he's sitting there in the little part where you know, what do you call it? The in-school lunch, which I think, to me, that's dumb. I think the way they got that, because to tell a person to face a wall when you got a bunch of people back here and then turn around and ask them not to turn around, I think that, to me, is retarded. But whatever. I even talked to the powers that be, you know what I'm saying? That didn't make sense. Put them in. To me, I told them, my suggestion was put them in the library, right? And give them a book. That way, while they're in the library, we all know mentally the library, you can't talk, right? So if you can't talk, then right, and that's what I was explaining. You can't talk. So what needs to happen is you put them in the library during lunchtime. They're not going to disturb, because they don't see. Here's the thing: when they're around people all the time that they are familiar with, they act up. But everybody knows you don't mess with the librarian. You know what I'm saying? And I know her. Shout out to her too. So I mean, like, I think that would help versus putting them right there, right? So I asked the young man, "Hey, what are you over here doing?" He said, "Well, I'm over here because the teacher, I had to use the bathroom." I said, "And you know him? He's known for roaming the halls." I said, "Bro, was you gonna roam the halls?" He said, "No, I really had to use the bathroom." She kept telling me no. I said, "Well, she had a reason why." He said, "You know what he told me?" He said, "Nah, man, I told her, you ain't gonna let me go to the bathroom. I'm gonna call my mama." So when he went to the lunchroom, she got mad the fact that he said that. Guess what? When he sat over there, he called his mama. His mama didn't say nothing. He said, "Mom, come pick me up. The teacher's tripping." And she came and picked him up. Blew my mind. Not the fact, like back in the days, like, "Boy, why are you calling me?"
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not even that. It's the fact that she came and picked him up with no question.
Yeah. Well, he probably said some other little things that was not true. But I don't understand why the parent would even come up there without speaking with the teacher. Now, because I know if they've had to talk to the parent and say, "Hey, he roamed the hall. If we let him go to the restroom, he goes to the restroom, he's not going to come right back." You know, we skip in some areas. You know what I mean? So that, and then that's a good idea about going to the library. But guess what? Who's going to watch them? Because the library may have something to do. She may have a class in there she's working with. You got to have another staff member or someone that has to be in there.
Yeah, and I even told Bruce. I told Bruce that I would volunteer. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Bruce. Bruce is the one that helped me out, liaison over the Daddies Over Duty. I even told him that I would do it. But the problem is that my whole thing is that who's going to be in those lunchrooms? You see what I'm saying? Like, and I told you tonight, we have a list of them, but they don't never be there. And I find myself, you know, like, even when I told you, you was like, "Yeah, Bruce came early today." And when I came came during the lunchtime, it's the fact that I be wanting to go to the other places. But again, that's why I get on them, and I have you on here to let people know. And again, I'm going to ask you this question. How many parents do you see that are involved out of all and it's a big, y'all got to understand, our area is a 7A school. Let's put it like that. It's one of the biggest. It ain't 6A, it's 7A. So in a 7A school, ask yourself, in a middle school, how many parents do you see that come in there and participate?
With the children that I deal with, it's very minimal.
Right.
Very minimal. You know, sometimes it's at the point where when you were calling them, when they stopped answering the phones, they used to say, "Well, what I'm supposed to do with them?" I'm thinking you need to parent your child.
Right.
This is what we're doing. And oh yeah, this would back in the day. I'm reading this. What is that?
You see it
saying whoop their tail. Well, a lot of them are not getting whoopings.
Come on,
You know,
come on
they
now.
didn't
Tell the
even, and
truth.
so if you don't have paddling going on in the school, like, say, how can you paddle somebody? I said, if we could paddle a lot of kids and send them back to their classroom and they're embarrassed because they got paddled, then that would be a big difference. But now you can't not put your hands. I think they call it corporal punishment.
Corporal punishment, yeah.
Corporal
Yeah.
punishment. You
Yeah,
cannot help.
and when I first moved here from the East Coast, when I played ball here down in the South, I didn't know nothing about that. And they was like, "You gonna get paddled." I messed around. I think I had got in trouble. My coach was like, "Yo, you messed up on your grades." I think I had a D or something one time. He said, "You know, you're gonna get a paddle." And I said, "A paddle?" Man, he said, "Yeah, look at that picture right there. They look good on it." And all of a sudden, he's like, "Now bend over." I'm like, "What?" Man, and he told me up. It was so embarrassing because what it did was, and remember back in the days, people don't realize in the South, y'all don't know this, but Miss Fuquay know this. I mean, I love the kids. She knows this. The fact that they used to sit there and pull you out the hallway. They would pull you out the hallway and whoop you and put you right back in the class. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of people don't understand that that's what we went through in school, and they stopped that because a lot of parents was mad, complaining about the fact that you can't whoop my kids. Don't put your hands on my kids. The dumb stuff.
Yeah, you can't put your hands on them now, and that's what they do. They'll call and say, "Hey, come get me," and they come right on up there and get them. And so that's not helping anyone. It's not helping the child.
Yeah, I got paddled, Jan, many damn times. Yeah, I played ball. Yeah, they'll paddle my coach used to sit there and look there. He had a big paddle, and he had the our thing on it. It said Austin. It said Black Bear Country. And he used to sit there and they had, and most of them, look, Jen, the crazy part, they have holes in it. Yeah, they would have little small holes so the air can go through it. And you bow, bow. And then he'd be like, "All right, go ahead. Go on about your business." But you respected the fact that you knew that there was, no, it wasn't a class clown. It could have been anything. No, it wasn't the fact. It was just that's what they did. Instead of they wouldn't send you, and I love the kids know that they wouldn't send you straight to the principal's office. The teacher would pull you out of class. If that teacher was mad, that teacher said, "I'm gonna send you either to the office or I'm gonna paddle you." I'm telling y'all, we used to say, "Give me the paddle," because you knew if you went to the office, you was in trouble. They calling your mama. Yeah, they calling your mama.
And then we come up there, and it's a whole different ball game.
Come on now,
It's gonna be a whole different ball game. But this is a whole different generation. You just can't do it. Now I know some of the schools, the county schools surrounding us, some still paddle. But I think you also have to fill out a permissions, some type of paper saying that you would like your child to be paddled. That can eliminate that eliminates a lot of suspension, in school suspension. So you're just gonna let your teacher paddle you, go back in the room, you sit there and get on board with what's going on in the classroom, and then you're gonna be straight. But then you still have some in the county that say, "No, don't touch my child." So so they still have it in some schools, but it's basically county. But you have a choice. The parent has the choice to sign the agreement, like, yes, they can have that paddle, that strap against them.
Right. Wow. So let's go ahead. We got 368 people in the building now. So let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and keep on building off this video. Let's check this out. What we're talking about is I love the kids. She's a professional. She deals with kids like this. The same stuff we talk about and all these things that the kids go through. She's the first step to trying to help your child. And if she could really call all the parents, I promise you she would. But the thing about it is, like she said, half the parents, she do try to reach out and not get them in trouble. They don't answer their phone. And y'all are starting, and y'all going to see this because we're going to break this down, even down to the hygiene part.
Till her son got home from school that she learned what actually happened.
He proceeded to just tell me that there was a fight at school that day and that there was blood in the hallway, that this child was bleeding, which then made me realize exactly what that email was about.
The word of mouth spread, fueled by the violent video clips shared among the school's parents, who called and emailed the school and the St. Johns County District demanding answers. Late Thursday night, Principal Linda Carnall sent a follow-up email confirming that 2 fights had occurred, which were handled according to district policy, and that EMS was not called to the campus. She added a warning against students filming and sharing videos on campus, which is a violation of student conduct policy. This parent, who also asked to remain anonymous, says she was frustrated with the school's lack of transparency.
The second email that came out yesterday from the principal would not have had happened if parents weren't calling or emailing. By just saying there was a cleanup in the hallway that needed to be done, it's very vague and it's kind of shady.
So when you broke that down and you said because of a lawsuit issue, when they was talking about a cleanup, how, I guess, is that to protect the school?
Now that ours, now I can say our school system is a little bit more transparent.
Right.
But that didn't make any sense talking about you had that cleanup down the aisle, down the school hallway, and that was pretty much it. Why would you have to address something like that? It could have been poop. Somebody had a mistake and pooped on itself. But now you're not telling that you're not telling it was blood. You're not telling it was a fight. It was an incident. That is kind of shady, That would definitely be shady. I would have a problem with it as a parent. Like, I'm gonna need to know what's going on. Now I gotta wait until my child get in from school and say, okay, what actually happened? Well, we heard or we saw, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I would be mad about that. But yeah, it's all the issues of trying to protect the school. I feel like protect the school system. But I think
the reason why I showed that is the fact, like you said, like you even said, as a teacher, that's crazy. My question is to you is, okay, and I was talking to somebody earlier, and I was asking them, and again, this is just my opinion, and again, I'm just looking at it from another side, just playing different sides. Do you think from that point of view, right, like, is it all about just the government funding? You see what I'm saying? Like, because I don't understand. Like, I've been in your class, right? And and I always tell my wife, like, I'm sorry that I said it, but I'll be talking, like today, I'm sitting there talking to somebody else. You got another kid, he's yelling. He's right there. I'm looking in the corner of my eye. I notice he's watching me. He wants me to talk to him, but I'm trying to find out from this young man, because that I go to every child and talk to every child in that room, one by one. What happened? What can we do to fix it, right? So he's yelling, and like I told him, like you even told him, and I told him, bro, what's your problem, bro? I see you, fam. You want attention. So my question to you is, do you think a lot of that's what the main focus of why they come there is, the fact that honestly, the way I look at it, because it's not that many people in there, like, because you are so hands-on, it's the fact that they're seeking attention. That's what seems weird to me.
I think a lot of times they want that motherly attention, because going back what you were saying, a lot of them like to come back to my room because I think I give them structure. There's a way that I tell them how they're supposed to sit in their seat. There's no leaning. You have to sit straight up. There's no, propping your feet up and putting your foot on the desk. There's none of that. And so I think some of them are seeking attention, and sometimes they seek it in the wrong way. But I do feel like you got a lot of them come out of single parent homes, and they are busy. They are working, or they have other children that they're trying to tend to. We have a lot of children that have siblings that may be disabled. They may be autistic. So they may be getting more attention.
And I give it an example, and I salute to you again. I give you your flowers again. That day that I was in there, and I'll keep it vague, that day I was in there and I was like, why was that person picking on that other person? And when I went over to confront that person, whoa. And that's why I respect you, because I would approach him as, hey man, why would you do this, that, and the third? And you said, no, he's different. Like, it's not his fault. And then when you sat back and you broke it down to me, when I approached him, and then when I was in there and I observed him that one day, I said, I get it. My thing is, what I get mad is why we don't have enough of you to say, whoa. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I was going to go in because I was like, my first impression is it's a young man, and it's a girl. What is you doing messing with her? But then when you broke it down, you gave me her side, and then you said, whoa, but you don't understand with his side. And when I watched him, I was like, bro, and that's when I told her, I was like, you wrong, bro. And then, no. I'm like, no, you wrong. But it takes teachers like yourself, like, they're not a part of your class. You feel what I'm saying? They're not a part of your class. So what blows my mind is the fact that you, in that short period of time, you was able to look at the report, decipher, break them down. Why is it not more teachers like you that break that down? That's my problem.
Well, like sometimes I kind of approach the children like they're my children, because I call them my babies. So
I hear that all the time.
Yeah, I probably talk to them a little bit more on the mom side, because I know some of them are not getting that, you know. And then they'll try to say, well, you're my friend. No, we're not friends. You know, they want to do that. And I said, now we are, what I want to say, we kind of cohesive for about 8 hours, you know, and if you need me, I am there, but we can't be friends. You know, I kind of joke all the time, but I think a lot of them, they crave that disciplinary because they're not getting it, you know, and a lot of times you don't know what you need until you see it. You know,
no, you're absolutely right.
You know, it's like, well, she's trying to tell me right, so I'm gonna try to listen to her. But then, you know, you can get back in the mix of your peers or back into your environment, however your household is. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. So, do you think they're lacking in that, and the totality of them? Because I mean, you, like I said, you deal with a lot of them. Okay, we'll use one and we'll keep it vague, like in different religions, right? Like in the one situation where religion is based, and we saw certain things that kids would do based off the attention, or they don't want the attention of their religion, right? So when that one little young lady and what she had did, right? My thing is, why didn't they was more stringent on her? Okay, put it like this. Let me go back. When people make serious accusations, just like when those kids were fighting right there, you know, or somebody's making a threatening thing, why is it not reacted quickly? Because those type of things, when they're said, I'll do harm to you, I'll do this, let's even go far-fetched, I'll blow you up. I know that sounds crazy, but I'll do all these things to you. Why is it that the school system don't take it as serious, and they might do something like, oh, you can't say that, go to in-school suspension?
Well, now I tell you what, sometimes they will, I know they'll pull those children aside. Now that's when the SRO and administration, they're going to have a conference. They're trying to figure out, and they let them know the seriousness of it. And that's when the SRO, which was the policeman, he lets them know, hey, you can't make threats like that. We have to take those things seriously. So a lot of times you may not see that. Sometimes I may not even know about it until after the fact. And they let me know what's going on, because they're trying to, I guess they have to figure out how to maneuver. Because you, like I said, we're in a large school, and you only have so many disciplinaries, and something could be going on one end, whereas everybody might have been all hands on deck. So then we got to sit that child in my room until they get situated where they can get to that child, or they had to call the parent in, you know. So uh yeah, that's some serious stuff. So they do get talked to. They have a conversation, they have conferences, and let them know the severity of the things that they say or post, also. Yeah, it's scary sometimes, and I think a lot of times they so young they don't realize what they're saying.
Right.
They don't realize what they're saying.
Well, my thing is that, and I tell people all the time, like, when I hear those kids, I say, man, what did you do? Man, I cuss. Like, it's more prevalent now that kids cuss, and I want you to elaborate on that. Man, kids cuss teachers out. When I tell them, they cuss them out like they cussing out a grown person. Like, and it's crazy because, again, a lot of parents don't know. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. You know what I'm saying? Like, they really do. Like, these kids, they talk different, they act different, and they're not the same.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't part my lip at that age saying anything out of the way. But yeah, they can walk in the room and teacher can say, hey, I need you to sit down. The bell has rung. I'm trying to call roll. And they'll say, shut the F up. And it's like, did they really say that? So, and then going back to what you were saying, like they would rather be around me, and then some of the teachers are not like me. Some of the teachers have gotten so like, they're almost numb to it, because it's like, what do I do? I'm in the middle of dang if I do, dang if I do,
Right.
And they want to protect their job, and they want to feel protected too. And some teachers, they feel a little fear, because we have some kids that are a little bit bigger than us.
Yes, they are. Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah.
That is a fact right there. I know that. Like, I've been there. Like, it was some big, like the one dude that was in there, and you telling him, just like today, you had to tell, like, people, y'all don't understand. Like, I love the kids. She'll be sitting there. We can be taught. I don't care who walks up. Man, these kids, as soon as they walk up, they get to yelling, they screaming. I'm talking about they're in they're in school suspension. She got to yell at them. Like today, when she went, I had to get on one. She said, hey, Cross, I'm about to go here up to the office. I got to turn in this paper. I said, no problem. I'll stay with the kids. I'm with the kids. I'm talking to one. All of a sudden, because they felt like she was gone, they getting loud. They felt like that was the time. And I went off on them. And I told them, man, hey, listen, man, don't disrespect her, because you know why? Y'all are making it hard for her. Y'all are making it hard for her, because it's not like, y'all don't even understand. Like, even it comes down to, I've been there with her where I've had to stand outside with her with the kids to use the bathroom. And they don't even go to the bathroom correctly. Like, I don't even get it. Like, we have to tell them to come out the bathroom. If they stay in there longer than 5-6 minutes, they own some BS. I promise y'all.
Yeah, you have to stay on them. It's constant. You have to keep your eye on them, because you when you have certain ones in there that may slide past my room going to the restroom, it's like, what happened to them? And I have to keep up with them. So now it's to the point where I take everybody at the same time. We all try to go at the same time, and we like elementary. If that's what we need to do, that's what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna keep my eye on everybody. So hey, you got to figure out something. And I'm always thinking about who I have in my classroom and how they mesh with each other. I have to keep certain people apart from each other, because I know there's going to be some type of an argument, or they got to start joking, cracking on each other, and I tell them, hey, you start fighting in my room, it's going to be a whole different situation, because I'm going to have to call the law, and he's coming. And he has handcuffs.
So explain to these parents how this thing works. Tell them no longer, when it reaches, and I try to tell them all the time, when it reaches the principal, at that time, that's when people don't realize, when you say SRO, that's the police, y'all. That's the man with the gun. He walks around with his gun. He got it on him at all times. I know the officers that walk around. So when it gets to the principal, at that time, the principal either makes a decision. If he wanted to, he can hand it over to the police.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I tell them all the time that well, the SRO is called School Resource Officer. So
Okay.
that's
I didn't
what
know
that
that.
means. Yeah. So that's what they call that. And we have a good officer there. He is on it.
Yeah, you do. Yeah,
He's
he on
making
it.
sure.
He is.
Yeah, making sure doors are locked. You know, all videos that he can see, the rooms that have cameras, hallways. He makes sure everything is running. If it's not running, he is on it. You better believe it. So
Yeah,
he is doing his
that's a
job
fact.
to perfection, and I appreciate him coming in the way that he does and help us out. He will let us know. He knows when we have certain kids. Hey, let me know if he's down here, and we'll come down here a little bit more than he normally comes because he has to hit the whole school, and so we
Yes, he
appreciate
does.
him tremendously. But we really need the parents to help us.
Come on now.
We really need you all to make sure that they are having a successful school, a successful education, and making sure that mentally and emotionally they are ready when they come to school.
Right.
We need that. That'll help us a lot. Make sure they're going to bed. Take that phone and that Chromebook and charge it in another room. Put it in your bedroom.
Come on now.
Shut that
Well,
door.
hold on. I love the kids. Say it one more time, because a lot of them think when I say it, I'm tripping. So start over again. So what they need to do, starting from the beginning, what they got to do now?
We need some help. We need you all to make sure emotionally, physically, education. We need them. We need you all to help us. Pull those phones, pull those Chromebooks, put them in another room and charge them overnight so they can get some rest. Because a lot of times if they are up all night playing games, in the video games, they're up playing games, they're on social media, and they come in and they probably had 2 or 3 hours of sleep. What you expect they're going to do? They're going to be up talking and moving around in the room because they're trying to stay awake, unless they're bold enough to just go ahead on and lay their head down and go to sleep, because we do have some of those.
Mm-hmm. Now, y'all hear what she said. She said a lot of times when the kids are active, and I learned that when they're active and they moving around, and even a lot of the kids I deal with, and they constantly moving around, they talkative and all that, that's because they tired. They really tired. They've been up all night because the parents go to bed before the kids do. And that's why she said, take it. It's okay to take the damn cell phones and the Chromebooks because they don't need it when they ready to go to bed. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, because even myself, I can say I'm going to bed and I can go in there at 9 o'clock, and I'm be out at 9:30, and I'll pick up my cell phone, and guess what? That's that stimulation, that bright light wakes me right on up. And then guess what? I'm struggling a little bit in the morning. I'm struggling to get up. Yeah, so you just think about a child.
You kicking some game.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead. We're going to play this one more video for y'all. I know it's getting a little bit late, and I had a great build. So let's check this out. This is the violence that is surging right now. Again, kids, juvenile violence in D.C. So this is all pertaining to what we talking about, y'all. Y'all hit that like, but 434 people in the building.
And the nation's capital is facing a surge of violence to start off 2023. Our Jacqueline Matter joining us now with how crime is affecting some of the youngest members of our community. Jacqueline?
Well, Angie, good evening to you. So according to our numbers, about 12 people were shot in the past 3 days here in D.C. 5 of them were people under the age of 18. It's a topic and a problem that has a lot of people talking, including government leaders and community leaders as well, who are now tasked with trying to fix this problem.
Just days after the district reflected on the more than 200 lives lost to violent crime in 2022, D.C.'s police chief Robert Conti yet again answering calls from the community after a quadruple shooting off Georgia Avenue that left an 8-year-old boy injured.
Anytime we have someone who senselessly is shot, is murdered in the streets of the District of Columbia, that's unacceptable.
That shooting comes just a day after 5 separate shootings on January 2nd that injured 3 teens and killed a 17-year-old.
This is an epidemic, and we need help.
Martez Tony of Southeast D.C. was shot and killed right outside the Congress Heights metro station.
Martez had he was the life of the party. He had this aura about him. He wanted more for himself. He just didn't have the right direction, if that makes sense. He didn't have the right leadership.
Statistics from DC police given to Fox 5 in November show almost 2 times as many kids died from gunshot wounds in 2022 compared to the year prior, leaving many to wonder how to combat juvenile crime.
When our young people become active participants in crime, it's a result of hopelessness and oftentimes helplessness. And when they become victims of crime, then it ends up being a tragedy. And we see a lot of that taking place here in D.C.
While D.C. saw an overall decrease in crime in 2022, the recent string of violence causing Mayor Muriel Bowser to veto the district's new criminal code, claiming the bill does not make Washingtonians safer.
None of us can be satisfied with young people having weapons and using weapons and killing each other.
The mayor also pushing for consequences for young people who use guns. One organization working face-to-face with teens, including Martez Tony, who was in and out of their guidance program, says it will take a community effort.
We are combating things that have been baked in since they were toddlers. So I think D.C. government, Metropolitan Police Department, nonprofits, DCPS should all come to the table and talk about these solutions, but talk about it from a big picture perspective that says we will have to roll up our sleeves, create a plan, execute the work.
So what do you think about that right there and that whole aspect of that?
Yeah, it is a tragedy to see our children dying at an early, just leaving this world. They don't understand the severity of that. And
come on now.
And like that young man was talking about leadership. I know he didn't want to jump on. I'm sure that was a teacher when he said leadership. He really going back at the parent.
So break that down when you say so you decipher it, and that's where us as parents need to start listening to these key words. Like you say, he said leadership. So when you heard it, what did you get from that? Speaking also as a teacher, as a leader in the school, and also as a representative for a lot of these kids that parents don't know.
Yeah, it's being a participant, because I know even like in that inner city, I'm sure it's inner city there in DC, they have programs in the school system, and they want you to come in and participate and make sure, because you can live in any type of environment and still thrive. Now you got to be a little bit more safe. It's like you need to come home. You need to be in the house before it get dark. And it may be to the point where it's so dangerous you can't even be out there during the daytime. But guess what? You have to make provisions to keep your children safe. You can still put them in after school programs, and teach them how to do just basic things in life.
Basic things. And even Dolly Bear, you said something. You said, I don't know how do y'all feel about teen being found with the gun or using a gun. I'm gonna give you like I said earlier, I also mentor another school that I love the kids is aware about, that she is aware about. I was supposed to go up there today. I was on the live with y'all. I was supposed to go up there. There was kids that in school suspension, the same thing she does, but at the junior high, they got into an argument in the class. The same guys, which is weird to me that they put the same people in there fighting. They got to tussling. The gun fell out. This was just 3 weeks ago? This is like 3 weeks ago. That's what I'm trying to tell people, that it happens in real life. And you're absolutely right. What do you do? Well, we don't know. We had to basically, you lock them up, but as a parent, you don't know what you do, because you're not expecting, and that's why I'm trying to tell kids, and like even I love the kids is saying this. She's saying y'all are not, what y'all thinking is the normalcy is not normal no more. Kids do a lot of things that, salute the EIC in the building. Yeah, kids do a lot of things. Yeah, Basso, kids do a lot of things. She deals with them. I give y'all another one, and I hate to say this, but I'm gonna say this for y'all for the live chat. I was in her classroom one time, I was supposed to be in the lunchroom. They hold so half white. Salute. Yeah, I'm trying to, man. We giving real game. So check this out. So we messed around, and what happened was I was in her class mentoring kids. Y'all don't know this, and it sound crazy. She's right here. I don't got a lot of kicking. But do y'all know that a young girl got up and a vibrator came out her pocket? We're not talking about, we're talking 6th and 7th graders. Came out her pocket. It's not what y'all guys are thinking. This is different. This is totally different, and they have access to real life stuff that we would never have access to. So the question is, you got to ask yourself, one is, who got it for? Did she steal it from somebody, which is nasty? And not only that, who would condone that? And why would she? And what is she going throughout the daytime that is allowing her to bring that to school?
Oh yeah, they're just exposed to so much, and we got to be nosy. Parents got to be nosy. You go in their room, they can't tell you this is my private stuff. This is my room. No, that's your house. You pay the bills. So
Fact.
with my boys are grown now. Oh, I will walk if they were still living here and they were underage. Oh yeah, I'm going in your room if I feel like something's going on. See, how you gonna find out what's going on? Because when they get a teenage age, they kind of like pull away from you a little bit. They still want to be up under you, but they still trying to have their independence. And
Right.
if you start hearing things going on in the school, if you keep your ears to the ground, you're going to know, well, let me go and check and see what's going on. Let's ask these questions and see what they know about it. See how much they know. So parents, you got to go in that room. You got to, and guardians, because we got to go back to that. There's
That's
a lot
right.
of
Come
children are not being raised by their parents. We got grandparents, we got aunts, we got uncles that are raising the children. But we got to go in there. You got to be nosy. And I walk right on in there. What you got? What you doing? What you watching? So we're gonna have to do that. You got to know, because kids are smart. You're teaching them how to use that. You might say, yeah, you can buy this on Amazon, but you didn't even check to see what they were ordering. I want to know what you're ordering.
Come on now. Come on, man. This is what I be saying. It's the little things. Yeah.
You can't tell me, I'm gonna let you can spend $50 this time, part of your allowance or whatever. But I would like to know what's going on. Heck, I might even open it up before you get to it. UPS come up. I'm gonna open it. I may open it, or I might stand there and watch you open it. I want to see what's going on. I paid for it.
Come on now. And I'm the same way like that. I tell my kids all the time, you didn't pay for nothing, dog. You can't even buy tissue to wipe your tail if you needed to. So you can't, the first thing you do, you buy tissue and keep it in the house every day, then I'll start looking at you different. But you can't even buy the toothpaste. You can't buy the soap that needs to wash yourself. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, they think it's a genie that it just happened to appear. Oh no, we purchasing this stuff.
Come on now.
So yeah, we got to keep up with them. We got to be. I don't care to be a friend. I wasn't a friend to my children, and that's why I let the kids there. Maybe that's why they say you're my friend, and because they're friends with the person that's supposedly raising them. We don't play that game. We're not friends. I'm an adult. You are a child. You should stay in a child's place. And I'm going to help you. I laugh and I talk. I joke with the kids sometimes. But when it's time to get down and doing your work, your assignments and things like that, it needs to be done. And I'm not playing with you. I try to talk to the kids like I talk to my children. And I feel like they're pretty successful in life. They're able to go out, get a job, be able to take care of themselves. Because that's what you really want. You want them to be successful. You want them to be able to get out in the world and take care of themselves when they get older, especially the young men. We want to see you productive in society, because we know that everybody's not going to go to college, but we do have trade schools.
Right.
They can go to trade schools for 2 years and still make a buttload of money and be able to take care of themselves and their family when they have one, when they establish a family. So I want to see everybody productive. because
Come
it
on
is
now.
getting scary. It's getting scary out here where the kids, they can't do basic things like go and take themselves a bath.
Yeah, that's
You
what I
know,
was about to, and before you go, I was about to say that. Can you elaborate? Because I think a lot of people, it's not the fact that these kids are not like they don't have running water or whatnot. Again, it goes back to what you said, the lack of the parents staying on them, right? So break this down to them about, because I've been there. I was there, and I tell them all the time on my live, like people don't even realize, like, and I come in there and I can't even imagine. You don't got no people don't realize you don't got no windows. You in an enclosed area, and these kids and they backpacks and all this stuff that's in there in that room and the small confined space. The fact that they are not told about their hygiene. Can you break that down about some of the things or examples of some of the things that you have witnessed as dealing with these kids?
well, you see on Instagram, I see a lot they joke about, you have parents joking about kids always wearing a sweatshirt even in the summertime. That's how it is in my room.
Yes.
And it's like they get up the next morning and pick up the sweatshirt that they had on the day before off the floor and keep it moving. Just come right on in, to the school. And it's like, sweetheart, you have got to wash that. Don't you see visual stains on your tee, on that sweatshirt that you have on? I'm going to need you to wash that. And I was like, I don't know how to wash. We've had conversation on how to wash your clothes. I've told kids about airing out their shoes, or you need to wear another pair. You need to air that out or buy another. If your parent can buy you purchase another pair of shoes, I'm gonna need you to go ahead on to do that, because that's another thing with bullying. We have some kids and other kids be like, ooh, so-and-so stinks. And I have to stop that, because I don't allow bullying in my classroom. Once they start talking, I talk over them, because I know what's about to come out of their mouths when somebody walks through. And it's like, we're not having that. But I try to pull them to the side and say, hey, sweetheart, I'm going to need you to do this. I'm going to need you to wear, when you go take a bath, how do you wash yourself? And then they look at me kind of puzzled. I don't know. Sometimes it may be because they're a little embarrassed. And I just come right out as like a mom. And I say, I need you to have 2 washcloths. And I tell them where to hit one with one and put that down and hit that other one. And please, I'm saying, hey, but I need you to put on some deodorant. Well, I don't have any. Well, I have some. So if you come to school in the first thing in the morning, come down to my room and we're going to put get some deodorant. And we do have other teachers and counselors that do have those items, and then you have some young ladies, go ahead.
No, I was going to say you're absolutely right, because that's what I'm working on now. And shout out to the school that I'm trying to bring toiletries into the school, and shout out to Eric Scott. My guy Eric Scott was on here. He was the one, when I donated those leggings and stuff. Yep. He was the one that helped me, and I couldn't have done it without him and other people that helped support it. And that's one of the things I want to bring to the school is the toiletries, because people don't realize those are the small little things. And when I went in there and I dealt with the kids, a lot of them, people, believe it or not, a lot of them don't have it at their house.
Right.
And that's reality.
Yeah. Or we just watching them just get up, grab something and head out that door. They need to, we need to see if they got crud on their face. You need to wash your face on a regular. We need you to brush your teeth twice a day. And, and it hurts my heart that you see kids. And I know some boys, they just don't, at that age, they don't want to take a bath.
That's right.
Unless you dang near stand in the doorway and they be like, Mom, like, you don't smell right. And I'm going to make sure you in that tub instead of just running water and standing your feet and your ankles getting wet. You're going to sit down off in this water. You're going to take a shower or something. So,
and I get on my son all the time about that too. I tell him, I was like, bro, like, you don't understand. Like, it's like you're like we grew up, you're a representative. You know what I'm saying? You're a representative of who I am. Jen said Cross, deodorant, and Spencer, not toiletries. So, but at the end of the day, Jen, if that's what it's worth, that's what it's worth, because again, it's not their fault. Like, that's why I always put myself in those positions, and I love the kids know that. Like, sometimes, like the other day I came up there, man, my neck was all jacked up, but if I don't do it, I feel like I failed them. It's not you know what I'm saying? It's not their fault. It's not their fault that they don't have toothpaste in the morning. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I feel bad, like, and I love the kids. She'll tell you about, man, I damn near broke down crying one day. It was a young man in there. His shoes was messed up. I could not focus. I called my wife. I told her, I say, I'm going to the mall and I'm gonna go buy the young man's shoes. I got the police officer to ask him. He got offended. You know what he said? He said, I like these shoes. These are my favorite shoes. Well, then once I broke it down and realized it, is the fact that was his trigger mechanism, knowing that his folks would have got mad. Like, I've gave clothes to kids, and I know that, like, even I love the kids. They end up giving them away, or their mamas end up selling it, or their daddies. I don't know who sell them. Like, I give kids my clothing line, and some of them I see them, they don't even have it on. I don't get mad. At first, when I first started, I was doing it, I got mad. But then when I understood, you got to understand where these kids are coming from. It's sad, but it is what it is, and it's reality. That's why I wanted her on here.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I remember telling you that don't get upset when you don't see a child with it on, because they may have an older sibling or a parent that say, I'm gonna wear it. I can wear this.
You told me that. And you told me that. And remember that one little young kid, and y'all don't know, it was a situation. The kid told me that he wanted to commit suicide. And like my first week there, I was like, man, I'm in tears. So I'm trying to do everything. Next thing I know, I find out, and it's sad, he's a habitual liar. And he gave my clothes, salute shake. He gave my clothes to his mom and them. And I don't know what they did with my clothes, but I gave him some clothes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Sometimes you're gonna have the little con artists because they watching you and they're trying to learn and see what they can get away with. Yeah, you have to. You do.
Yeah, he got me. He got me. Hey, look, and I walked up on him and I said, "Hey, man, where my gear at, bro? Like, bro, I gave you like so much stuff." And he was like, "They still picking on me." I was like, "Oh man, you got me, bro. You done messed around and got me." And he came at me with that same old damn story. I ain't gonna lie. And there's a couple of them in there, you know, that I really want to help, man. But it's like, I don't know what goes on in their house. You know what I'm saying? Because it's weird, because when they're at school, all that, and people don't realize, and I learned that being at school, dealing with y'all, is the fact that all that is acted out. Everything they do is acted out. Like, they can't wait to get to school to act out. They can't wait to go to school to get in trouble, because you guys give them all the attention that they want.
Right. And you can kind of tell the children that are getting some sort of attention at home, that's getting some guidance. And then you can tell the ones that are pretty much kind of winging it and trying to doing it on their own. And it's really sad at the age that they have to try to survive on their own. Some of them are on that survival mode. They're not thriving. They're on survival mode. Because we do have some kids that will not tell us anything. And it hurts our heart, because they have a need.
Right. And Dolly Bear said, you know what? I just got an idea. If anyone were able to put a gift bag or say toothbrush, toothpaste, floss in a baggie and donate maybe $100, $200 of them to the school, would they distribute them? Yes, they would. But the problem is that what you want to do is make sure you have it. Like with the leggings, right? I tell y'all, with the leggings, and I love the kids, she'll tell y'all, I donated all the leggings. The problem is a lot of them are too embarrassed to come, right? So if I was going to do it, what I did was I said I was going to, get a whole bunch of toothpaste, like wherever it was, just the travel size, like it was at the Dollar Tree or whatever, right? And I'm going to spend whatever on toothpaste, the little small deodorants and stuff. Because like I love the kids to say when they walk them down there, a lot of them are embarrassed. They won't come to some of the men, but they will come to her, right? And they would tell her, well, like y'all would be amazed. A lot of them don't even know how to wash under their arms, for real, and that's for real.
Right. Sometimes you have to try to just slip things to them, and don't let anybody know. Say, hey, come down here and bring your book bag. So but you have some that are too embarrassed, or you may have children that the parents probably or guardians say, you better not take anything from such and such. They don't want it, I don't know if it's just they're embarrassed, or because they can't afford it, or they just don't care. They don't want the child to have it. And
I
that's
tell you that one kid that was from out of town, and I'm gonna give it. And again, we keeping it vague. Was the one that stalked the kid, right? And he's from out of town, but we know. And when I talked to him, you say, "Man, you hit it on the head." Because as I was talking to him, something we don't know what happened. I even talked to the other person, one of the big dogs, and spoke to him. He said he really felt the same way. Like y'all don't understand. It's like young men is stalking other men at school. Young boys is, listen what I'm telling y'all, young boys is stalking other boys. It's unreal. Like it's some of the stuff I've never seen. So I talked to the young man. I said, bro, you can't do that. He said, I just want him to be my friend. I said, yeah, but the way you're going at it. But guess what happened? When I got to breaking it down, the weird part was something happened to him, and like he don't want to explain why he feels like he has, like y'all are not understanding. He's aggressively stalking him for what? And these are sixth graders.
Yeah,
like these are not grown adults. These are kids.
Yeah,
man, that shit hurt me when I ain't gonna lie. When I left that day, I just like, man, why would he do that? But then he's the same kid, and I'll keep it vague. He's the same kid that you have to watch, guys, that he goes in the bathroom. You have to watch him because he's notorious for going in the bathroom. Whatever he decides he wants to do in the bathroom, that's what he does. And I'll keep it like that. And it's sad. And whatever he went through as a child, it's hurtful. Like it hurts me when I left. I felt like I wanted to do something for him, but I don't know what to do for him because a lot of these kids at that age in the 6th and the 7th grade, the ones she deal with, man, they act so grown. They like, I am blown away how grown they act.
Yeah, they see too much. They're exposed to too much. And I'm not putting everything on social media. It's just some things that they see at home. If parents are not, or the adults that they're around are doing things in front of them that they should not see, and they are seeing it, and they're being exposed to their environment, and they don't realize. They may not even realize that's what adults do. But if you're exposing them to so many things as a young child. Let's say they're 3rd grade and they know what's up and they seeing different things going on, or men in and out, or you know what I mean? Just anything that
break it down. Break it down to them. Let them know.
In a negative light. They're seeing too much. We can tell some kids who are grown. And you know what I'm talking about.
Listen, I even asked you, like some of them in there, like I was just telling my own boy, I was like, bro, like it's some of them young girls in there, they in the 6th and 7th grade, they act grown, like grown. You talking about, like, listen, y'all, like 6th graders with eyelashes. They got fake eyelashes on. They're getting dressed up. They got jewelry on. They trying to wear whatever they can wear. It is unreal. I'm telling y'all, this is not. That's why I tell everybody, like, it's almost hurting. And I can only imagine, because in the era you grew up, and thank God that you grew up your sons in the era where it started switching up, because man, I have my daughter there. Like, she knows my daughter, and it's rough. You know what I'm saying? It's rough. It's a lot of heavy influence at all time. And if you don't have people like her, or I have a great bunch of people there at the different schools or at the schools that support me and that they look out for my kids. Because other than that, if I was not there, that's why I said when I first started coming there, what I did was I had to start looking. And when I came there, like I said, I applaud you. I'm not gonna lie. Because today, I went there today. I told everybody I got to get ready to go. I went up there. I was in the lunchroom area. Then I came in your room. And when I left, I came home. I had to lay down. I ain't gonna lie. It drained everything. Because I'm talking to these kids. You talking about kids throwing computers and all this. And I'm thinking, man, why ain't nobody where's your mom and dad at? Why ain't nobody came up here and snatched you up? But the parents, they ain't gonna do that. Yeah. And these ain't no bad kids. And some of these kids come from great homes, folks got money. It's just one to be the entitlement, and then it'd be the other one be like some of the teachers, like you said, and got tired of them. They really done got tired. So therefore, like I said, some of the write-ups, like I told them today in your class today, I told them some of the write-ups to me sound crazy. But I get it because it gets to the point, what else are you supposed to do? You really don't want that. Remember back in the days, they used to have on your report card, follow instruction, did not disturb class. They got rid of that. If they had that, I think all the kids, majority of kids would have F on theirs or unsatisfactory.
Right. But we really need the parents to look at it and read it. They might not even know what kind of grades they have until until they in trouble, the grade, okay, you're not going to pass, you're failing and you're going to have to go to summer school. But if you have 3 core classes and you fail more than 2, you can't take but 2 classes during summer school. So what that mean? You failed.
Wow. So I didn't know that. So you telling me, so these kids that are in there that's getting in trouble. See, this is why people they don't understand. You just gave game. So you saying, okay, so if you got a child failing or getting in trouble, they can only make up 2 classes. So therefore, even though they make up the 2 classes, they still going to fail.
Yeah, if it's a core class. If it's a core class like math and science, literature,
Like when I was talking to that one young man today, and I said, bro, he said he been I'll tell y'all the story. I talked to this young man today. He said, man, I skip what do you say, second period English. Now y'all gotta understand, this is I think he's 6th or 7th grader, either one. And I said, why would you do that? He said, because I don't like to read. That's what he told me. Some of this stuff be hurt. I said, bro, you got to learn how to read. How do you think that myself, if I was to do a contract or something, how would you be able to read that? And I said, man, you know what? You seem pretty smart. You want attention. I said, I know you lacking it wherever you are. I said, do you have a big brother? And he told me, well, yeah, I got a brother and sister. I said, okay, so they don't really pay you no attention. I said, because you're in her class right now and you're acting up. But he told me he didn't want to go. I said, bro, do you realize if you fail that, what are you going to do? I said, you don't want to be held back, because if you're held back, like we were back in the days, they're going to laugh at you. He said, well, I don't want them to laugh. And see, they don't think about that. That's the thing that nobody is telling them. That's like the missing gap. Hey, man, they're going to laugh at you, bro. You can't, because they're just going day by day. They're just doing stuff day by day.
Mm-hmm. And you have to teach them solutions. You have to, say, hey, if you don't do this, if you do not pass, you will be in the same grade next year. That's how that works. If you can't go to summer school and cover those 2 classes you failed, which are core classes, then guess what? You will be sitting in the same grade. You will repeat. That's just how it goes down. So
that's a fact.
yeah. So you have to make sure that you're communicating and let them know. And the teachers are letting them know, but they're getting frustrated. I had a teacher come in there and spoke to one of the kids. She went to check on the kids and make sure she was up to date with her assignments. And the child looked at her like, I don't want you to help me. She said, are you telling me you don't want me to help? She said, just let me know. She said, hey, I don't want your help. She walked out of the room and I saw she had tears in her eyes. And I caught her in the hallway and I said, she said, she's very smart, but she will not, she just does not want to do the work. So I had a conversation with the child later on, a couple of hours later, that same day. And I said, she was like, well, I don't want to go to college. I just want to finish school, I get to high school, graduate, and I'm through. I said, how are you gonna be able to take care of you? How are you gonna be able to take care of yourself when you get older? She has no plan. And I can understand that. That's, you 6th grade, 7th grade, or whatever. You have no, but I didn't even get an aspiration to say, well, I want to be an actress, or I want to be an engineer, or I want to play ball. I want to play NBA, WNBA.
Right.
I got nothing from her. Absolutely
almost,
nothing.
It was almost like just talking on deaf ears. Like it was just like, it's like she's listening, but it's like it's nothing coming out of it. It's like you're trying to get something out of it, just say what she would like to do. And like I said, a lot of them, to them, that's being grown, being done. Because you think about the average kid nowadays, their mother or father, the closest they got to was out of high school.
Right.
So that was good enough.
Yeah, and they thinking as far as they parents probably telling them as far as you need to go. You finish school and get on out of your house, and then you grown. And I hate to hear that. Even when my children were going to school, they're in their 20s, in their mid 20s, and I never forget my son. He had a teammate on the football team, and his mom, he could spend a night with his girlfriend or whatever. He didn't hardly go to school, but you thought you was gonna play football on Fridays. So then you got the coach and whoever else at the school trying to go find this child so he can come to school, because if you don't come to school, you can't play. And he said he went by the mother. And said the coach said he went by the mother's house. She said he grown. She said he was like, ma'am, he is not grown. He's 16. He's 17.
Right. See, that's what I don't get. And they automatically give them that leverage and be like, because they know more that, yeah, he grown. He's not grown. That's why I be telling people, he not grown, bro. You can't make me believe he grown.
Right. My 24-year-old son, he don't live with me. He hadn't lived with me since he went off to college. He left, went to college, finished school, got his own place, has a career, not a job, a career. And he still calls me and say, hey, mom, can you tell me such and such? He may be sick. And I say, hey, yeah, I'm gonna need you to go get this. He still needs some guidance. He's coming into his own. You definitely, you can definitely believe that, but they still need guidance. They still need that guidance. So the babies, they need someone to look up to, and I hope that. And a lot of times, it hurt me. I used to feel like I had a friend. I would get so upset and I'd go out to my car on my lunch break. She said, Cal, you can't save everybody. And I had to get that in my head. And so I just hope that somebody's listening, somebody's catching it, when I tell them, try to school them on life and what they could accomplish. And I don't care what type of environment you live in. I don't care if there's a one person or a 2-person household, parent household. I want to see you. I want everybody to make it. I want to see you succeed. That's the bottom line. So later on, if somebody come to me and say, Miss, can't say it, but I am so proud of you that I'm so glad that you kept pushing me and telling me to believe in myself. And that's going to really touch my heart if anything. That I changed my life, because I've seen some kids from the 6th grade to the 7th grade decide, hey, I don't want to be that kid. I don't want to be the kid coming down here getting in trouble. I do want to be part of extracurricular activities, because that's another thing. You can't do it. You can't do all that. Some coaches will say, hey, I don't even want you to try out because I heard about you.
Well, and you know what? That's another thing. Like I hear a lot of those kids that are good at their school, man, And the one of the kids, they said, man, one of the coaches up there, they said, man, we want to put him on the team, man. He's like, man, but he get in so much trouble, bro. Like, we don't know if he gonna be able to play. Like, he might get suspended. That's what I'm saying. It's like they don't look at it like, man, once you go to sports, man, you got to leave all that mess alone and focus on that. They don't do that.
Right. Because you can't represent a team and they got somebody on there that's always doing something, that's always into something. You know, can't have it. And I can understand that. You don't want that bad worm part of the group. You put that worm in that basket, you already know what's going down. He gonna ruin the whole basket. That's right.
So I'm glad you're breaking this down, and for everybody, we actually end up getting 437 people in here right now. So I salute to y'all that's coming in here, y'all. I love the kids. She's a school teacher, and she deal with the kids that we don't want to deal with, and all the things that come with it. So again, my whole thing to y'all is, if y'all got any questions, ask her. I'm asking her, I'm picking her brain for y'all to know. I deal with her all the time. So I just told her today when I went there, I really would love for her to come on here. I think she has something to bring. We don't ask these questions. That's why I always tell y'all when I say, hey, these kids, these hygienes, all this stuff. You see what I'm saying? Like, people don't know that. So what are the things that I guess you can run down on them is, what are the things that they need to start focusing on as parents, even if from a small scale to a big scale? What do they need to start doing?
Be an advocate. Participate in parent-teacher conferences. Go in and have a conversation. Let the teacher see your face. Let them know that you care about your child. If other family members, if you know that parent is kind of wishy-washy, don't be mad at the parent and say, well, I'm not going to do for such and such. Give that child something. Put something in their heart. Make them think about some things as far as moving forward in life. Because I do hear a lot of that. Well, I'm not going to do such and such because they don't do this for their child. Well, why can't you? If you have that extra little pocket change and you can buy them little doodads, something to eat. Some kids don't eat cafeteria food. That's just something they don't do. If you can give them money for a snack or something that they could buy in the cafeteria, some chips or whatever, do that. Give them a little pocket change. Make sure they're doing their lessons. That's back to the people who are raising them, parents and guardians. Make sure they're doing their lessons. Help them. See what's going on. Be a participant. Find out what they're studying. Give them that attention. Because when you give them attention, that'll spark something. That'll spark something in that brain. Like, hey, they care about me. They want to see me succeed. So just always just be there for the children. That's all I can say. Please be there for them. They are important. They are our future, and I don't want to see, I don't want to see any other kids lost. It hurts my heart to see that, but I need everyone that's in that child's life, whatever you can put in that child, put it in them. Put it in them. And you got to water it. You got to water it. You got to continue to love on them. Let them know that they are important. That's one of the main goals. They need to know that. They need to hear it. They need to feel it. So don't just be a mouth service. Let's see some action. And I thank you.
Come on now. Already, man. Well, you know what? I love the kids. Thank you so much. It was a blessing. You came on here. I told you I was going to get you on here. I told you I needed you on here for you to break it down, and you're going to be on here even more, This was real, and I already know that you love the kids. I know that I watch you every day when I go up there. I know what you deal with. people don't realize, like, it's a real job. It's a mental job you deal with because you have to be able to leave the school and turn it off. And I only salute Mr. Smith. I don't see how you're able to just turn it off like that. You know what I'm saying? But you did. You know what I'm saying? And you do every day. And I'm glad you was able to turn it on tonight for me. You know what I'm saying? I know it's late night. I know you got to get up and deal with the kids. So I just want to say again, thank you in the chat, and everybody want to salute you and thank you for giving us this game, because you know what? We need to hear that. And we need to hear it from people that work there, because again, you guys don't make that much money, but you deal with so much. Y'all deal with our own kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? And I know what you do. And I've seen you. I've came home and been like, man, I watched her like almost break down. And then I've went up there. And, you know, I'd be like, I've told a lot of students, and I'm guilty of it. You know that, like, man, you know what? This school ain't for you. But it's crazy because you're talking to 6th and 7th graders, and it's not their fault. You know what I'm saying? It's the parents' fault. So, you know, that's why I do it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So do all you can with what you can. That's a big thing.
Already. So salute to I Love the Kids. Thank you, Queen, for coming on here. Again, we had a great bill. I appreciate you coming on here. And what I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to go ahead and exit you out. Again, thank you for coming on, and I'm going to wrap it up. And next time, we're going to definitely bill.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right.
So there y'all have it, man. We had a great bill, man. Salute to her, man. She came on there. Like I said, I deal with her every day. When I'm on the live with y'all, the first thing I say is, man, I got to get off of there because I deal with her and so many other teachers. So salute to her. And I appreciate her for coming on here, because she said she been wanting to come on here, and she wanted to let everybody know what she deal with these kids, from the hygiene, what really goes on. She can't go into too much detail, you know what I'm saying? It's her first time, but the story she could tell y'all, man, it's heartbreaking, man. It's heartbreaking. You know what I'm saying? You know, from anything from the young man that, you know, he lost his daddy and then he's still up at the school, and every now and then he might go in a tantrum. You know, I've been able, she is. And I've been able, oh, definitely. She coming back. She definitely coming back. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna have a lot of people, man, from the schools that's coming on here and gonna speak, because I deal with these people, man, because I feel like it's the time that we definitely need to start letting them speak. Because me speaking to y'all and me going, if I can't get y'all to the school, at least I can bring the school to y'all. You feel me? And that way y'all get an understanding. So salute to her. Man, that was a blessing. It was great. So you already know. On that note, I got something for y'all. I got a new drop. Salute to Maki. Oh, she come. They go Maki right there. Salute to Maki. This is a new drop right here. I want y'all to hear this. You know what I'm saying? I think y'all gonna like this. Let's go. You already know.
Switching up the motherfucking topic. You're yelling in the back, but you ain't popping. If I got a banger, I'ma drop it. Coming out the back of the project. Looking at the roster and you see the whole team high. Nigga wanna talk, click the link on the stream, y'all. Had to get my boy across another fucking thing. If you're sleeping on the ground, push the boy, you need a dream on. All over the world, where you find me at? Niggas, they be capping like they Johnny Mac. Cross your heart, that's on your neck. Fuck around and get it tech. Change the world and get a check. I'm on the field and I'm a threat. I'm a goddamn dog, I ain't in the kennel. Niggas hella fucking funny like they Jimmy Kimmel. I be all over the web like I'm Black Widow. If you pull up on my nigga, you get Black Widow. Hey, Hey, yo. Freddy Krueger nightmare, little my kid at night, yeah. I don't even like you, I don't wanna talk to you. Doing what I gotta do, my flow come on impromptu. Looking at me, nigga, I be getting out of deposit. Nigga talking shit, but he don't even make deposit. I be with my niggas sending kids off to college. Every day I'm increasing my money and my knowledge, bruh. Big money coming to the fuck nigga thing. I don't give a fuck what a fuck nigga think. Moving like a soldier in the goddamn army tank. It's the Plug Podcast, nigga, fuck what you say. You already know what it is, man. We gonna keep doing what we doing, man. We dropping it. Yeah, we changing up the season for no reason. Hey, okay. Hey,